Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back. Obviously, I think we start off these first 4 days with the vets. I think, right where we left off in the OTAs, and excited to be back here with everyone and gearing up for, obviously for the Lions, but just excited where these guys are at right now. But with that, go ahead and open up.
How does the process change at all for you, just getting into camp so early with the Hall of Fame game? Or does it change your tempo of how fast you're going through things, how you're building up at all?
No. I mean, we're still going to go ahead and we're going to start back at square one. Assume nothing that, we're going to make sure we're going back to the basics with everything we do with that extra game, knowing that you have a couple extra practices where we can go ahead and get some other guys in working that. But, I did this once years ago in Minnesota, and that was when we had actually 5 preseason games. But the approach and everything, the messaging, everything's the same. It's just more opportunities for these guys, more opportunities to evaluate them. That's the exciting part of it, and just really continue to fine-tune those details.
How does the team feel different at all in year 2 with Jim? I know there was a lot of excitement last year, and does it feel more like you guys have an expectation of what you're supposed to do and what you want to do this time around?
I think what it is obviously ultimate competitor, of who he is, and these guys are ultimate competitors, and they're just ready to come out and really showcase. All right, like Duran hit it, really well. It was just, we had that bad taste in the mouth after the loss, the playoff, and just want to come out and prove ourselves. They're excited for the opportunities. So I think let's get out there, let's prove ourselves, and the reason why we should have these high expectations.
With he's gonna probably move into a starting role. You played a lot on the special teams last year. How do you kind of envision his role on special teams and just a balance of starting playing next year?
Yeah, with Tula, I mean, he's a tremendous football player. You wish you can clone and have a bunch of him, everywhere. But obviously there's some give and take now. You got to take that in consideration. You can't go ahead and put him in all those situations. But ultimately, coach wants the best team out there, and it's time for some of these other young guys or another position group to pick up that slack. But it's tough to go ahead and replace him. But he's squared away in terms of all those. He wants to do it all. He wants to play on all those phases, and just going to depend on the situation where we have him. But he's just a phenomenal football player, in which we're definitely excited to have still. So it's just going to have to a whole bunch of guys just picking up the slack.
Obviously, in that room, in the edge room, you have Kyle coming in as a draft pick. Just what have you seen from him as far as what he could potentially bring you guys on teams?
Yeah, I mean, he's attacking every day. It's not just in terms of practice. It's meetings, very attentive in the meetings, taking great notes. He's doing everything, all the little things that he can. He's learning, though, I think, also from the guys in front of him, from Thule, the way he was doing it, but, also Murphy. I mean, Murphy's doing a great job. He played a little bit for us last year in some games, and, so it's a great competition, in that edge room, especially then you got the other young guys with Randolph, Morris Brash, and Guidry, and so it's a really good room, really good athletic room, and it's creating a lot of competition for those spots, so I think it's good for everyone.
For a guy like Thule who wants to play in every phase, how do you as a coaching staff kind of let him go but kind of reel him back too, because you don't want him to be putting in too much work so he can still be freshman for defense?
Yeah, no, and that's the thing that we have to balance, a little bit. And again, it's going to be by committee. There's not one player on the roster like, yes, they can just go and fill in for Thule in the way he was able to. It's the trust that we have in him, with it. So we got to build that though with everyone else, and that occurs even with all the other positions too. And sometimes it's an easy, for positions it's easy where if a running back goes down, it's just the next running back go in. But for us, there's a lot of different moving parts where that one running back position fulfills different roles. Well, it's not going to be just filled by that next running back. It might have to come from a safety or a tight end, and so that's the puzzle we have to kind of put together. And that's what alerting back to the question about longer training camp. I'm grateful that we get those extra practices to be able to really work on a lot of those skill sets with those guys to find out who can replace like a Thule and all these other players that, might have to go ahead. And I know Nick Neiman having to replace that guy too, and just, moving forward, and it doesn't stop. The train won't stop.
Ryan, how much does it help to have Josh, JK, Cameron together again for another season?
Oh, it's invaluable. I mean, those guys, it's the leadership with those guys. I know the success that they have on the field, but it's the leadership that they bring to the team as well. So I think the continuity with those three is big, and that's a big reason why, because, JK was a free agent, and there's teams coming after him, and, give all the credit to Joe and to the organization, to Coach Jim, and, bringing him back, to keep that continuity with the holding for the field goals, and just they all three work together so well. They've been great pros, and just very fortunate where all three of them are back. And a lot of people say to the three specialists, but I also throw in the returner as well. I mean, he's a part of that mix too. So having, those four guys, in terms of Darius Davis back is, we feel like we have a lot more to accomplish, but we can go ahead and, start to attack those goals that we want.
Year two of the adjusted kickoff, just obviously I think last year was a bit of a crash course for everybody, just trying to get prepared for what it was going to be like. How do you feel like it's going to be different this year, just having a full season under your belt and maybe being able to prepare a little bit more thoroughly for what exactly it's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, that's with a lot of things. I think the experience from last year was great. I think what we try to do early in the year with that wasn't, we evolved at some point in mid-year, and we had to do something different, and realize oh, maybe this didn't work as well as this might now. So having, like you're saying, already a year under the belt with those rules help, but also thinking all right, we can take it another level and take it a different direction with some of the things that we want to go ahead and do. And that's kind of what, using that extra week that you referred to in terms of trying to build on some of that stuff as well. And, and then the other part about it is the curveball, which the drive start's now going to be the 35-yard line. And so with that now, knowing that, all right, these balls are in play, which is exactly what, we want, in terms of that, more opportunities. So that's just going to be an exciting, for our team. But, I think we're approaching this all right, we understand this play really well. All right, we know how we want to attack it, and now let's go ahead and give different dresses with it too.
You mentioned areas. Just kind of last year when you drafted Ladd, we saw, him returning, working out in training camp at that position. Just kind of where are you at with that position? Just solid Darius Davis, or is there any competition there? Kind of where are you getting to look at there as well?
No, I think there's definitely competition, there, because this goes back to one of the first things I learned getting into coaching, where one of the coaches I worked with said, I'm always coaching, the number one, and at this time was the running back position, the number one running back to keep his job. But I'm always coaching the 2, 3s, and 4s to coach them hard to take their job. So there's always that competition. I don't believe it's always his job, but yeah, he is. He what he's done, in the course of the league. I mean, he earns that respect. So we're definitely, again, very thankful that he is on the team and he is, the returner. But we got to continue working these other guys. So. In terms of a lot of these young guys, they got that skill set. KLS, he hasn't been a punt returner before, but he's got the ability to do stuff. And, Luke Grimm, you talk about some of these younger guys. And then Haskins is obviously one of the kickoff returners. Vidal is the running backs, Patterson, So a lot of these guys, what I love about how this roster has been constructed is they're not just one position guys. They all have a different skill set that they can go ahead and add to this team, and that's the way they can increase their value. And so I think it's a pretty good returner room in terms of building that depth. But it's going to be fun and exciting to watch these preseason games, how they play out, and see who wins those jobs.
Is there any group, player, or individual that you feel as a coaching staff is really impressed? You had said that you guys have started so early that they're hitting the ground running.
I think as a whole, I think, and it might just be very broad, but I think as a whole, I think the whole team has attacked it. They've just embraced it. They're ready to go. They couldn't wait to get back in here, and you just see that sense of excitement. So I don't think it's any one position group. I think it's the whole team, and I think that's kind of what coaches, laid out with the foundation, and they're excited about this opportunity and to get at it because, again, there's a lot of unfinished business out there that we need to make sure we go out there and we attack it every day and achieve those goals that were set out in front of us, and that is to ultimately win a world championship.
With Cam, he's going to set the record for the most accurate kicker, through 100 kicks. Kind of just overview of what makes him special. 1 and 2 is he put on a little more muscle? Is in can kickers, like if they want to add a little distance, is there a way for them to do that without kind of messing up their mechanics?
Well, we can't put it out there that he's adding muscle. We don't want to help him with that. But no, he does look good, and now he does attack the weight room and everything he does. It's the weight room, the meetings, his work on the field. But no, he looks good out there. But I think the most, and he'll say it, and I've said it before in terms of, I believe that he will always attribute his success, though, to also the guys around him that allow him to be successful. If it's not just the O-linemen, but the D tackles and the tight ends, everyone that blocks for him, and the interior-wise, the operation, the consistency that, you were talking about, all 3 of those guys coming back, that creates that. But he's well matured above his years. I mean, he's just beyond his years in terms of that. He came in here, knowing his craft, and he's done a great job, Coach Beep, working with those guys. And you can't say enough about the way they approach the game and how they work.
You mentioned McNeeman. I know you filled a really critical role for the teams. Just who you envision kind of stepping up in that, or like what kind of skills are you looking for to fill in that role?
Yeah, and it's tough. You can't just replace one of our top core guys. It's never easy, but that's what this league is about, the revolving door, finding a younger guy. And, we're fortunate enough to go, bring in Delshon Phillips. You got Maga, and then you got some of these young guys in terms of Marlo Wax, and then Imani Johnson that are trying to, pick up that slack, and Colson with it. So, again, I think it's very similar to the Thule question in terms of, is it one specific guy? No, I mean, it's going to have to be by, pretty much by a bunch of different positions going ahead and fill that role. But we are very, confident in the guys that we did bring here, and that's why we went, researched it and really fought hard to get some of these guys here. And we're excited about that group, that linebacker group. We missed Nick, but we got a really good group inside in that linebacker room. I'm excited for these guys, and they're excited for what their role is going to be on the team. But it'll be fun to watch them, especially coming out against Detroit.
Coach, the margin of error to win or lose games is so tiny in the league. Has that in any way, shape, or form kind of changed or maybe evolved the way you coach your guys, knowing that it's this, literally the difference between winning and losing?
Yeah, I mean, I think with us, the way we got to attack it, and we talked about our philosophy being like situational masters. We want to make sure we are mastering every situation and gaining every field position as best we can for our offense and defense to take the field. So we talked about, a meeting the other day and just talking about complementary football, right? Talking about how the special teams complements offense complements special teams complements defense. And ultimately, we're trying to get the best field position and win that game. And that's, kind of like it starts off with the kickoff to start the game. That's special teams complementing the defense by getting tackles inside the 25-20, giving that long field for the defense. Defense goes 3 and out with long down and distance on 4th down, allows the punt return to come out. That's defense complementing the special teams. Allowed to go ahead and now get a good punt return. And then you get good field position for the offense, and then the offense goes down and scores. So that's ultimately what we are trying to build in terms of winning the situations and then playing great complementary football to help our team win. And it's just about a matter of what is best at that moment in that time of game, score and everything. So, because as you mentioned, the margins are really small, and we got to be dialed in, kind of like the free kick. Those guys went out and they executed it, and I think it changed the momentum of that game against Denver last year. And I think that gave us a little opportunity to go ahead and to win that game. So that's a hats off to the players in that room, in that locker room.
Is that free kick, was that like one of your favorite moments of your career? You have time to celebrate that?
Yeah, that was a special moment just because it's one of those, like, you're chasing, you always practice, talking about practicing it, and you put it up there and they're like, oh, this is never going to happen, and then all of a sudden it does. So I was just so proud of those guys, the way they went ahead and executed it and went out and did it, and that was just a testament of who they are, and that's that's why I think we have a special locker room. I think with what coach has built with this team has made them really special, and I think that's great. As this most special moment, I mean, yeah, just I mean winning football games too with it, but yeah, that would rank up there pretty high.
Is there any other obscure kind of thing you prepare for that you don't think is gonna happen?
There's all types of, say, like pump block situations. Like we cover just like if blocking a field goal and it goes across the line of scrimmage in terms of if you touch it and the offense actually muffs it into the end zone on a PAT. Like all those scenarios that you feel that don't occur. Like one of them was against Cleveland, several years ago, in which they got a 2-point conversion off of a PAT, because they, so a lot of those situations, that's what's great about special teams. There's a lot of nuance, a lot of, crazy rules that, touching rules and making sure that you cover those so that if that situation does arise, that we are dialed in and ready to go, and that we are reacting. That's one thing we will talk about, react to making sure we're not thinking in anything we do. So, so yeah, we cover those and try and hit them and show examples of if we can.
How's camp going so far?
Going great. Feel good to be back out here with the guys, running around, playing football, and getting ready. But we got like 10 days left, so it's going to be exciting to go hit somebody else, to go against somebody, actually go full speed and not have to slow down. So I'm actually geared up.
Everybody's super excited for this year, and I know you got pretty close. What do you expect from him?
Another breakout season for him to do more. I not say do more, but to do even better than what he did last year. Even just these past couple of days, we had like 2 interceptions, like back to back. Just the way he carried himself in the meeting room and on the practice field. Like I'm excited, and I'm pretty sure you all are also.
What do you expect from yourself this year?
Man, just to be a leader, help the team, do what I do best, and just be pushing the podium. Just be a leader, keep being a leader, making an impact, and helping guys, elevate.
How do you see Junior progress? Like, he obviously had a down season last year with injuries, but what are you kind of expecting for him?
Like I said earlier, when you asked me the same question, like a breakout year. Last year probably didn't go as well as he wanted to with injuries and everything like that, and I understand that because I've been through there. But just the way he's going about, his business in the meeting room and on the field, I expect a breakout season from him also. It's going to be a lot of competition going on.
He talked a lot about just really focusing on his body, making changes to his regimen. As somebody that's been in the league as long as you have, like, what's the process like early in a career as far as figuring out how to maintain your body at this level to be able to stay available?
I did the same thing. I think I came in at 250, if I'm not mistaken, like 245, and I think the next year around OTAs I was like 215. So you kind of figure out like what works for you. Obviously, he's not in college. There's not a goal weight you can, got to get to. Like you play at what you're comfortable at. So I had that talk with him before. So I'm glad he actually listened.
So as far as do you think like there's almost like a trim down when you get to the league?
I wouldn't say trim down. Like I said, you play at whatever you're comfortable at.
Yeah.
Like I can't say, well, that's 235, 240, like whatever's best for you. All right, we got like 2 more questions. I gotta go eat and shower.
You guys are in San Diego tomorrow. Obviously, you played in San Diego with this franchise. Like, what do you think it means for this franchise to go back and do training camp?
Honestly, I feel like we should have went back. To be honest with you, just I love San Diego. That's where it all started. I'm sorry, it's a spider up here. That's where it all started, and yeah, I'm excited to just go back in general. Just be back. Yeah, that's what it all started at. That's what I can say. That's what it all started for me. So, yeah, it's a spider up there. I'm excited to go back. That's it. Thank you.
Just how's Camp 2 going for you?
Camp 2 is going great so far. We just got on the way. We're having a lot of fun out there. Having good competition with the team, but we haven't put pads on yet. So we're just out there enjoying it. Learning the scheme, getting all the fundamentals down. Just play ball with the guys.
How was year 1 for you?
How was year 1 for me?
How was it? Like, how was year 1 for you?
A lot of room to improve. I would say a lot of room to improve. Certain things I didn't like, but we're just stacking year after year.
What do you feel like you want to improve on particularly?
My body was one of the biggest things. Just getting healthy and staying healthy. That's one of the biggest things that we've been focusing on, making sure we stay on top of, and then just getting the reps under me to where I'm comfortable and confident in myself and just being out there.
Did you do anything differently in the offseason to try to prepare your body for this year?
I kind of just went back to what I knew. So back to, you know, how I work and how I grinded, you know, before injuries and certain things like push me back. So there's no flashy thing and try to add different things like, oh, I need to do this differently. Or just go back to the fundamentals, go back to, you know, Coach Herb and guys that always got me right and just, you know, making sure I get right and ready to go.
What were the lessons you took away from the whole experience? I mean, you had the appendectomy, you missed a couple weeks of camp, you had the ankle, IR. Just what were the lessons that you took away from off the field, on the field through the season?
There was a lot of lessons. You know, you only have one appendix, so, you know, can't have that again. So, you know, just a lot of lessons, you know, having injuries year one. I'd rather have it, you know, me and Coach talked about, I'd rather have it year one than year 5 or 6, you know. So getting those injuries behind me, getting healthy and making sure, you know, it's the NFL, you don't really get all that time. So, like, you have to stay on top of your body. You have to stay on top of, you know, your health, making sure, you know, the best, you know, ability is availability. So that was one of the biggest things, you know, we harped on, focused on in year one.
The speed of the game, was there a transition or an adjustment at all for you in terms of the speed of the game at this level compared to college last year?
I wouldn't say it was like the speed of the game. It was mostly me getting my body right to where, you know, to be able to play at this level, because we played very high level football in college, and just having that translate and getting the reps, I think more out here and, like, you know, with the guys, having been able to have a camp and get the reps under you, I think does wonders to the body, and then just having, you know, the older vets show me the way.
With Dayon, he went through injuries his rookie year. He had a hamstring, missed some time, you know, didn't end up playing a ton on defense. Year 2, he comes back and, you know, has a breakout year. Do you look at sort of his trajectory at all when you think about, you know, what could be on the table for you this year?
No, you know, everybody's different. Everybody has different years. Everybody has different paths. So, like, you know, I'm proud of him and the goal, you know, the big jump he took. But I'm just focused on, you know, getting myself right and getting myself ready to play my best football and how I know. So that was the biggest thing. You know, I'm proud of him. I love the way he does. So I added certain things he did to my game. Just kind of bounce ideas off each other.
What's your vibe like with Denzel? He's a veteran. And you guys sort of kind of battle for a starting spot.
Yeah, like, you know, it's great competition. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at. It's always going to be great competition. But, like, you can't let that stop you from bonding. And, you know, he's played in the league 11 years. So being able to bond and learn so much from that guy, I think, you know, I'm never going to hate him. I'm like, oh, I'm trying, you know. So it's like, you know, we're out there having fun. You know, when he makes a play, I'm celebrating. When I make a play, he's celebrating. You know, we just want, you know, have good competition, make each other better each and every day.
The competition there is going to heat up tomorrow when the Pats come on. You guys in linebacker?
Yeah, I think it's heating up. It's heating up really well. You know, we have some really good guys. And, yeah, when the Pats come on, that's when, you know, bullets are flying, it's having fun out there, and just, you know, competition heating up day after day. You know, it's the first week of camp, so we just got to keep stacking it.
As far as just like learning, like the lessons that we talked about, learning how to take care of your body, the different things that's sort of necessary to play at a high level in the NFL. How valuable has Navarro been, the guy who did it as long as he did, to be in your room every day, sort of shepherding you through the process?
Huge, you know, because he's like, he sees it in the eyes of a player, you know, so like he knows what we need and like what the best thing is for us in those moments, and like, hey, you know, here's what I did. It might not work for you, but like, just, you know, maybe take some ideas off that, because we always have different bodies. So I think he's been, you know, a great tool, great things, and like, especially like during the offseason, showed me a couple of things that I should add, you know, to my regimen, like just staying healthy and just staying on top of, you know, everything, staying in shape, being able to run and move around. I think that he's been, you know, one of the staples.
Those are like workout stuff or diet, or like what kind of stuff as far as the regimen?
Just workout stuff, and then just, you know, I've had a good diet, and just, you know, getting back to where I felt comfortable weight-wise and everything.